Hello and welcome. It's Japan, and I have a tier list here for you from the Royal Rumble. We're gonna go in the Women's Royal Rumble first. I'm gonna go through all 30 competitors, and we're going to rate them from A to D or S to D on their performance. I mean, there was a grab bag of different people, and I think the Women's Royal Rumble to me was just a crazy mess of goodness. So, yeah, I guess we'll just start from the top and go to the bottom. I don't know, man. This was a crazy one. I should have probably put it in order, but that would have probably even been more difficult. I guess I could look and from the order I remember on some of them, but yeah. Instantly starting off with Io Sky as number one. That was a great decision. You know, like Io is just she was one of my favorites to win it, so I definitely obviously am a little biased here. But I guess we'll just start with one and two because it's easiest to do it that way, and I won't remember the order all the way through, but maybe it will help me, all together put it put it good. I guess I'll definitely have to put EO into A. Obviously, like S tier is for somebody who probably would have won it. I don't know. I don't really know exactly what I'm looking at for the S tier, but EO did amazing. She's no slouch. Obviously, she does an amazing job, and now we have to campaign for her. Everybody in the comments, everybody in existence needs to come together and collectively get our spirit energy into that giant spirit ball that Goku makes and push her towards winning the Elimination Chamber to go against Rhea Ripley. Because man, that will be fun. I guess it really depends because if Charlotte Flair says, "Hey, I'm facing Rhea Ripley," then it kind of changes, I guess. I don't know. I mean, Tiffany and Io Sky would also be good, but yeah, whatever. We don't need to worry anymore. Um, I guess because we can go to the next person. Next up is Liv Morgan. Liv did great, lasted very long. She had been the runner up the last 2 years, so I was kind of surprised she didn't like do that again. I mean, she went really, really deep, so yeah, I mean, it makes sense to just it was still a great showing. I'll put her in A tier. Next up was Roxanne, right? Resident Roxanne third. She went all the way to second. That is just absolutely amazing because it's like she wasn't gonna win, and even if she did, it would have been crazy. But like it was just such a great showing. She's already had so much like just memories and moments already, and she hasn't even gotten to the main roster yet, which is just crazy. Like just her Royal Rumble appearances have been great, and this one is amazing. She lasted from three all the way to the very end. It was three or four, I can't remember. That is S tier, and it was great. I love Roxanne Perez. She's one of my favorite women that come out of NXT. And it wasn't a Julia and Stephanie and Zarya side. She would be like my favorite, but I loved all those wrestlers beforehand, and they signed NXT, so it made it harder. But man, NXT actually showed up and showed out on this one, which I was a little bit surprised that we got as many, but I'm not upset at all because NXT is amazing. If you're not watching it, I don't know what you're doing. After that, what was it? Lyra next. Lyra came in. She's a champion, so she didn't really need to do much. We knew that like whoever like I noticed with all the champions, they get eliminated by people that more than likely might have a feud with them later or have an active feud. So Ivy Nile eliminating Lyra Valkyrie makes all the sense because she is probably the next one in line for the IC title, and now she actually has a reasonable thing for it. So I'll put it in B. Nice showing. It was her first ever Royal Rumble. She was in there. She did some decent stuff. So I couldn't say anything bad about um, Lyra here, and she did great. After this, I'm just gonna go from the top because I honestly do not know any of the other order of things. I know Chelsea Green was yeah, Chelsea Green was fine. So we can go Chelsea Green. She had some great spots, and getting eliminated by Piper Nevin was also pretty good. Put that in B. Chef's kiss. Classic Chelsea Green. Obviously, being the U.S. champion, it was a she wasn't gonna win, but it was a good thing. So yeah, then we'll go down the list. Nia Jax coming in at 29. It was like one of those things. Once you know, like some people are confirmed, then you start like doing the math in your head, and you're running out of space. So you knew that she was going to be towards the end. Obviously, with her limited like stamina, I think is the perfect place to put her. When she does her stuff great. She doesn't need a lot of time in that ring to really like prove that. Like she's good. She's a beast. That's what her whole gimmick is. So you don't need her to be out there for 40 minutes being gassed the entire time. You put her in there for 20 to 30, or not even 30, like 10 to 20 minutes, and she showed up pretty good. I put her up in the B section. She did what she was supposed to. Bailey came in. I think Bailey had a pretty solid Royal Rumble. She was in there. She seemed legitimately like she could be a shot to win it. She stayed pretty deep into the thing. I put her into A. I liked her moment with EO too. That was what I was looking at. I was like, well, I want that. Maybe we get that at like a rematch at the Elimination Chamber or something. Next up is Natalia. She was one of those that like was guaranteed to be in there because it's just name value, but it was Natalia. I mean, I've never really watched her, so she probably is one of those people that like on the outside looking in, and people that know her and have seen her for years probably have a higher in like a higher regard. But to me, she's just Natalia. I mean, she's not. She's just on the roster. The spot obviously should have gone to maybe somebody else, but I think it was still pretty good. BFAB is next. I don't know what to say about BFAB. We like literally had not even seen her wrestle like really at all in the WWE, and then she's been getting tons of matches, and she did amazing here. Like she just went out there and belonged like she had been part of the roster. I was really happy to see that because when you got somebody that's like doing the manager role and then trying to do wrestling, to have her get that step up and stay on TV because the Street Profits were off was really good, and I think it's been worth it. And hopefully they give her a little bit more time to marinate and get some better screen time, more screen time, not better. But yeah, I'll put it in B. It's pretty solid. B for BFAB. My girl Julia, I was wearing the T-shirt. I still am because I'm recording this right after Royal Rumble, and I wore it to manifest her to be in here. I really didn't expect her to be, even in my prediction video. She was one that I didn't expect because it's like I felt Julia would be, but I thought it was just so stacked that they didn't need to use NXT people. I think like basically her and Jada Parker kind of like replaced where I thought the witches might have been in there. It was a little bit of a surprise they didn't get the call, and so there was some choices there that gave it an ability that Julia came in. She came out, looked like $1,000,000, got that square off against Stephanie, a little bit of a team up with Stephanie. That moment with her and Io, oh, I loved it. This is 100% the biased opinion, and maybe she's just an A for everybody else, but it was an A for me because I absolutely loved every minute of it. Meacham came in. Mitra's been doing good. She's kind of stuck in that feud with Chelsea Green, and there's not much that she can really do outside of that right now because like there's not many mid card women on SmackDown right now. I think they're building that division out, and I think it's going to get better. It's just going to need a little bit more time, and Meacham's putting in the work on that, and she had a solid Rumble. I'll put it in C. I don't think it was bad, but it's not the most memorable performance. Next up is Bianca. I think Bianca had a pretty solid Royal Rumble. I really thought she was going to go deeper. I mean, they had like that big elimination where all of like a big portion of the roster got eliminated, and she was part of that. But I feel like we didn't really get the story that we told because we thought Jade would be back, and she had a little bit of a moment with Naomi, siding with Jordan Grace for a second. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much. I put her in B. It was just kind of a solid outing. And then the Lash Legend, she came in and looked like $1,000,000. I mean, it's like, I guess it's bittersweet because I like her and Jakara Jackson, and only Lash getting it might mean the end of their tag team to a certain extent. We all thought like because they had that tag team match that tag team might be like promoted to SmackDown or something, but it might just be a call up. I don't know, but I'm fine with it to a certain extent because Lash is extremely talented. She's good on the mic, and she's good in the ring, and she's got that strength. Like, she lifted Otis like it was nothing last year. Little people, like, people forget about that, and it's just absolutely insane. I'm going to put her in A. That was a perfect Royal Rumble. She was in it for a fairly decent amount of time, and she definitely showed up and showed out. Next up is Candice LeRae. I don't think there's anything wrong with Candice LeRae. They kind of have her in that lackey type thing right now, and I don't think she really belongs in it. I think she's a good, solid wrestler, and she really should be in that U.S. title picture. I know she's the speed champion, but like she should be in that picture instead of just being the lackey to Nia Jax. So I'll put it in C. I think she should really turn on Nia and take out Nia, and that would really put her over into that mid card. Next up, we have Shayna Baszler. Now, the whole problem with the PFC people, I just really don't enjoy this faction. I don't. It's like it's a group of three women that like they're really like unique characters, but like when you put them together, it just really doesn't work for me. And like in the Royal Rumble, they were all fine. They kind of had a little bit of dominance, but then they kind of got all eliminated. I'm gonna put all three of them in the C area. Next up is Raquel Rodriguez. Again, see, I feel like she's another one that just kind of gets stuck in the background. I didn't even remember her theme song because like she's only been coming down on Liv's theme song. I'll put her in C. She had some decent moments and stuff, but just not anything too crazy. Next up, Alexa Bliss coming back after pregnancy. It was amazing to see. She was one of the surprises. I mean, honestly, it felt like they had three surprise like major surprises, and then like Jada Parker might have been the fourth because it was just a surprise. Her and Julia weren't really like they were in the realm of possibility, but like were a surprise to me at least. And yeah, Alexa Bliss was definitely up there. I think she had a good showing. I'll put her up in A. I'm really excited to see where they're going to put her in the main roster. Next up is Trish Stratus. Obviously, she's kind of limited to what she can do, but it was just like the big name value. I think it was worth it to put her in there, put her in C. Then we had the Queen, Charlotte. She won. I've never been a big fan of Charlotte to a certain extent. I did pick Charlotte to win. She was my pick, and I was correct, obviously. But yeah, I think she didn't look good out there because of the knee, unfortunately. I don't think that's anything against her, but like she definitely seemed like she's been coming back from injury compared to, anybody else that has been doing that type of stuff. So maybe it was a little too soon and then they pulled the trigger by letting her win. So it could be interesting what they do. I'll put her in B. The showing was pretty solid, but it definitely felt like she was running at half mass. Ivy Nile, she had that big elimination of Lyra Valkyrie, and overall she had some pretty decent stuff. She eliminated or she got eliminated by Maxine Dupree, which was good thing for their storyline and stuff. I think she did pretty solid. I'll put her in C. Naomi, another one that went out there and just did Naomi things. Like she just did her moves and she was solid going around. I always like Naomi in these type of spots. I wish she would have had a spot where she gets knocked out of the ring and gets back in there. They didn't give her a chance for that. But I'm really excited to see like I was just excited to see her in it. Next up is Stephanie Vercor. I mean, she just exudes aura, and it definitely was on the site for a bigger audience because a lot of people haven't seen her. If you don't watch NXT or watch international stuff, you're just like, oh, it's just a normal, everyday person. And then you see her, and you're like, okay, who is this? And yeah, that's how my partner was watching it. So, that worked out really well. I want to put her over Renee. She had a good showing. Next up is Selena Vega. She had like the first burst, but I felt like she kind of just fell into the background until she was eliminated. I'm gonna put her in C. I think that it's fine. It's good to be in that match, but I don't think we got to see as much as we normally get to see her in these type of matches. She normally gets some better spots. Next up is Piper Niven. She did pretty solid. She eliminated Chelsea Green. So does that give her a title opportunity? I mean, I don't know. I think maybe there's a possibility there. Um, so I'll put her C. I think it was pretty solid. Maxine Dupree, she had her good spot. She wasn't going to be in there that long. She's still learning and doing her thing. I think it was still good that she made it in there and she got an elimination. So I think C rating is not bad. Next up, we have Jada Parker. There's a lot of outside stuff with her, so it's a little harder to rate her. To be honest, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where you can kind of separate some of the stuff, but like you still have to deal with people's consequences and their actions outside of the WWE, and they're so vocal about it. It's hard to be like, oh well, I want to root for this person. So I think that was good that she got her opportunity here, but I think overall, I don't think she should get much of an opportunity in WWE in general. So I'm just gonna put her in C. I think that's probably just the best way of doing it. Then we got hopefully the right Bella. They had both of them on this tier list, so I think this is the right one. Honestly, it felt like the crowd wasn't really excited for her to come in. Maybe because I think they were thinking Becky Lynch, AJ Lee, or somebody else was going to be that surprise, and we didn't get it. So I think maybe that's what they were upset about. But I don't think he should be. It was still pretty solid. She had some pretty decent spots. I'll put her in the C area. And then Jordan Grace, she looked like $1 million coming back, or like coming back to WWE and now officially signing with WWE. I'm really, really excited to see where they put her because it's like I don't feel like you put her in NXT. It's just too it's too stacked down there. So why would you do that? But is she main roster ready? I don't know, but I think this was a solid showing. Put her in A, and that's my ratings. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me how you thought about the show. There'll be a bunch of Royal Rumble stuff on the channel right now because this is my favorite event, and there's just so much to talk about and so much stuff. Just so much stuff. Yeah. Until next time, this has been Japan. Bye, guys.